Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to Tattooed Relic. And I am excited today, ladies and gentlemen, because the time is now. Our long national nightmare is over. The moment of truth has arrived. That's right, guys. It's time for my official ranking video for the Back to the Future trilogy, which I just finished over the holiday weekend. So, hopefully the mob of people camped outside of my house will, go home now so they can watch this. Seriously, guys. They are destroying my sleep schedule with all the chanting, name calling, and all that. I mean, some of that is just uncalled for. I'm doing the best I can. This is a new channel. Oh, the humanity of it all. Anyway, on a serious note, it's been a hell of a fun ride revisiting this franchise after about 20 years. And I gotta say, my single biggest takeaway from this is that in the future, I will not wait 20 years before I watch any of these movies again. They're too good for that. They don't deserve to sit around being unwatched. So, anyway, let's get into the ranking. But before we do, I want to remind you guys that if you like what you see here, please be sure to like, subscribe, and share this video on social media and help me grow this channel. At this early stage, word of mouth, eyeballs on videos, that's my best friend. And I'm counting on you guys to help me with that. And with that said, let's jump right into it. Coming in at number 3, I'm going to have to go with part 2. And don't get me wrong, this is a great movie. It's a lot of fun. But this is kind of how ranking videos work. Something has to come in last. And in the end, I see two problems with this movie. I think, for one thing, it's a little too convoluted and all over the place for its own good. I think they could have streamlined it and made for a better story. It is a great film, but it's definitely the hardest one in the trilogy by a mile to follow. I mentioned in my review that if you're watching that movie and you're drinking beers or smoking weed or, whatever it is you like to do, good luck. Because if you haven't seen the movie a million times where you can watch it on autopilot, you will be completely lost trying to follow this one. Because it's all over the place. They're jumping backwards and forwards with all different timelines and everything. And the other problem I see with the movie is while I do think they did a clever job with the way that they tied everything together, at the end of the day, I just think it's a little too reliant on literally recycling scenes from the first film, especially in the third act. It gets a little ridiculous, and at times the part 2 felt like a cheat. It was almost like a highlight reel of the first film. Again, it is a great film. I don't want to sound like I'm bashing it, but those are my problems with it. All of that said, it did certainly have great elements. The dig at Spielberg in the movie about the fake shark, I thought was hysterical. I didn't see that coming. And overall, the darker tone of the movie was jarring, but I thought it was really funny. Making Biff a straight up murderer instead of just a bully. Getting into themes like political corruption and that sort of thing. I certainly didn't expect that. And I don't think a lot of people did. And that made it even funnier, and it made the movie work. So they did a good job there. And then, of course, you've also got the running gag throughout the whole movie that also carries over into part 3, where Marty loses his mind anytime that somebody calls him a chicken or a coward or any variation on that theme, which is apparently a thing with Marty, even though there was no hint of that in the first film, but whatever. In part 2 and part 3, that running gag does serve to drive the plot, so it is what it is. I mean, good for them, I guess. All in all, guys, part 2 is a great film, and it's definitely worth a watch. But, again, if I'm forced to rank them, which is precisely the point of this video, then I'm going to have to put this one last on the list. Coming in at number 2, Back to the Future. Part 3. If I'd rank... I think if I put the original in this slot, this video would have gone viral. And so maybe I should have done that just in the interest of growing the channel. But yeah. We all know where this list is going to end up. This movie, Part 3, very well done. I enjoyed the hell out of it, and I honestly did not expect to. I thought the idea of the bulk of the movie being set in the Old West was going to be a disaster, quite honestly. But they proved me wrong. They did a kick-ass job on this. And as I mentioned in my review of this one, the climactic train scene in the last act of the movie, I think is probably one of the best action sequences, not only in this trilogy, but probably in the history of action comedy. I mean, it is that well done. I've seen this movie several times, and I was still sort of white-knuckling it, watching the action, thinking, oh shit, are they gonna pull this off? Are they gonna do what they have to do? That's how good it is. Even if you know the outcome, you still get sucked into it. You still get drawn into it, and you're still on the edge of your seat, waiting to see how it's going to turn out. Man, there is so much good stuff going on in this one, but I don't want this video to be an hour long, so if you want to hear about that more in depth, check out my review of Part 3. I'm going to link all 3 films below, my reviews. I encourage you to check those out, because I do talk a little more in depth about each film. Anyway, with that said, of course, that brings us to number 1. That would, of course, have to be the original film. This thing came out of nowhere. It was original in concept. It was perfectly executed on every conceivable level. Writing, casting, directing, acting, set design, sound design, everything. They, I, that's almost the perfect movie. It really is. And I got to tell you, I think I could watch this thing every day for probably a month before I got tired of it. It really is that good, guys. So if you haven't seen this movie, or for that matter, if you haven't seen the entire trilogy, you have to fix that immediately. I don't care if you have to quit your job to do it. Become homeless. Go stand in front of a storefront window and watch it that way on a television. If that's what you have to do. It's that important. Don't make excuses. If you haven't seen this trilogy, fix that. Make it happen. I have spoken. And that's going to do it, guys. This was a lot of fun. I'm really glad I did it. And I will certainly be watching these movies again long before another 20 years passes. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And once again, if you like what you see here and you want to see more, like, subscribe, and share. And make sure you read the description below, because I will have links to my reviews of Part 1, Part 2, and Part 3. Check those videos out. Spread the word on those if you enjoy my reviews. And I guess that's going to wrap it up. I appreciate you guys watching, and I'll talk to you again real soon. Cheers.